Hello, I'm Judy Shen-Filerman. I'm CEO of Dreambridge Partners, and I've been working with international students, Asian students largely, for the last 15 years, largely in business schools and graduate student populations, and then more recently, the last 5 years, moved into undergraduates as well as PhD candidates, largely in the science arena. So I've had a chance to work with students across the board. I come to this work having been a bicultural immigrant to New York City, in fact, when I was 6, and went to corporate America, had some leadership positions there, ran some major businesses, and worked in Asia, the United States. So really kind of firsthand experience being bicultural, working through different organizations, and bring that to this notion of international students and voice and storytelling. So when Ben asked me to look at three major challenges that I have witnessed in working with students, these are the three. One is individualism, two is hierarchical distance, and three is belonging. Individualism and hierarchical distance are two of the most major issues that I really see students encountering and blocking them from really what I call healthy and successful integration into the U.S. Why is that? The East Asia notion is of people and group and family always comes first before the individual. And we in the U.S. is completely opposite, where the individual is first and then and the group always comes after that. Because we have such a focus on individualism, our entire school system is focused on that. What's your story? What do you think? What's your critical thinking about something that you've read? And the perspective that my thought, my perspectives is important enough to actually be respected, to talk about, to write about, to speak about in class. And so this individualism and having a story of self relative to outside world is a phenomenon that most of these students just have never ever encountered. So it comes out then in participation in class. It comes out their ability to interview appropriately, and importantly, in socializing. Our whole small talk is based on me having a story that's really interesting, that's going to talk to you about, and then what about you, and going back and forth. And so if I don't have a big focus on me, it's completely lost in my ability to really integrate effectively. The second is hierarchical distance. So in Asian and Chinese culture specifically, there's a big distance between those people in power with status and those that are lesser, professors and students, counselors and students, senior managers and a new entry into a company. And this distance means that my real self down here is never going to be really seen by the person up here. So this is why I will be with a friend, I'll be talking, oh my gosh, and then a professor walks by and the counselors that you're talking, how are you? Just fine, right? So this is almost like this mask that we all wear, that we've all been trained to as East Asians, that when you're in a public sphere with senior people, you put yourself way in the back so you show them exactly what they want to see. So that makes counseling incredibly challenging, right? Because you got to get to them, but also really shows up in terms of their ability to talk to professors and really engage with professors and talk in class, because that distance means unless I have 150% certainty that it's right or it's going to be valued by the professors, why would I talk? If I'm with a counselor, unless I know that you will respect me and not think badly of me, can I really tell you what's really going on? And so kind of bridging this distance is incredibly challenging, and the need for counselors and such to really say, I'm with you, and to not just say it, but to prove the fact that you will not judge them is incredibly important. And third is this combination of individualism and hierarchy makes it incredibly challenging for these international Asian students to just integrate socially, to have small talk, to talk about themselves. And we find people interesting when they can talk about themselves. We as Americans tend not to ask a lot of questions of people that we don't know. And so it makes them really kind of step back. So many students have said, I tried to talk to people during orientation, and then we ran out of things to say, and they're not asking me a lot of questions. And so by the end of like 2 months, they kind of go back to their original social group, their compatriots in their countries, because Americans don't find them interesting. Like, that's their perspective. And so my sense is a lot of students feel really a lack of belonging, especially in programs that are like 80% Chinese students. They really don't have a way to plug in, and I think schools need to do a much better job really actively integrating these students into the culture of the community, and not wait for them to do it. We are the hosts, we are the Americans. There's a way for us to help the internationals become part of our group. And I think we're really just looking at from a very different cultural paradigm than I think what Asians would do if they had guests in their own countries. So 3 things are individualism. It comes out in storytelling, development of self. 2 is hierarchical distance, which means access to both the U counselors as well as in universities, the professors. And then 3 is really sense of belonging that I matter in this community and people care about me. So the next thing is to really talking about what's one important thing as helping these students really develop a voice. Who are they? What's their sense of self? How does this come through? Again, it is a culture that is not about the self, it is about the group. So helping them develop that voice and who they are and helping them over a sustained period of time is so critical. Every student I've had that one-on-one with, really, it's in there. It's always in there. But we assume that a well-socialized or developed adult already has that. And we make that, I think, assumption that really puts them in a lesser position when in fact it's just different. And for us to be able to think about that is really important. So developing the voice and making sure that's really, really sustained. So last thing is 3 things to know is that these students really do suffer in silence. You need to really outreach to them. 2 is really understanding culturally their social development, their psychological development, and realizing they simply are different, really are so different to understand them, and that's the only way to really access them. And this notion of empathy, students have said to me, I wish they would just sit next to me when they're talking to me and really just kind of hold me and have that almost like maternal perspective when we're coaching with them, and to know that I'm going to be really, really accepted. So the last thing finally is just sustained support, integrated in their experience is so important, not so disaggregated from different groups. So this integrated, sustained support I think is really, really key. I want to just kind of end by thanking all of you for what you do, how much you care about these students. You have such a critical role in their healthy experience and their own development. And so I thank you for all that you do. And I hope that my perspectives have been helpful for you today. I wish you all well. If I can be helpful to you, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Thanks so much. Take care.